Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. So, this article Verizon released back in February, and this is for the local base where I work at. This is here in El Paso, Fort Bliss. And Verizon pledged to invest $1 million across the base to bring robust coverage everywhere on the base. And they were going to accomplish this by adding 10 new macros. So when they say robust, they already had coverage on the base. They already had towers. But now they're densifying. And that's what they mean by robust. So now, fast forward, tomorrow we're in May, starting May 1st, and these poles are going up. All 10 poles I have spotted already. So they just need to add equipment, the cabinets, the radios up top, which as quickly as they've deployed these poles and structure, I don't foresee the rest of this taking much longer. I say, if I had to take a guess, by the end of June, all of this will be completed and live. These sites will have fiber ran to them, dig, trenched. The cabinets will be there, and the racks will be on the top by the end of June is my prediction. So here's what I will say. Verizon is about to get very savage when it comes to the networking side. So for those of you who saw AT&T with the turbo, right? They're trying to raise price, but they're not raising price, right? They're wanting their customers to pay more for the same priority that they got before. Especially if you were on the elite plan, you were dropped from QCI 7 to 8, and now you have to pay to get back on 7. So they're trying to raise price without raising price, right? T-Mobile just hinted recently that they're also going to raise price in some form or fashion. I don't know if it's just a direct price increase on their plans, on the legacy plans, or if they're just going to do something as sneaky as what AT&T is doing, right? Verizon says, we're not doing any of that. We're going to be transparent, and we're just going to raise your price. And that's what they did. Verizon raised price on 32 million customers by $4 per line without even flinching. They just did it. But in return, they're going to build a robust network as what you're seeing across the base on Fort Bliss. They're building 10 new macros. That will be the most robust and dense network out of any carrier, regardless of how you look at it. And all of those sites are coming with CBRS and C-band, and it will be 10 gig fiber circuits. So, you do with that information as you will. And I know this is very anecdotal, if you will. I don't know what's happening in your area. I don't know what's happening at your military base per se. But I tell you what, Verizon is very high. They have a very high reputation amongst government agencies. And that trickles through all military bases. Very early on, when the government established GS phones, government phones, to hire up military personnel, hire up civilian personnel, that was through Verizon. So Verizon was granted access first before any other provider to build tower sites and coverage across the bases. So you best believe they have something in store for any other base that might be lagging behind. And Fort Bliss lagged behind quite a bit in capacity, not coverage. It was capacity, because such a high percentage of the base uses Verizon. And that goes from third-party vendors, food trucks, retail, civilian employment, military personnel, first responders. Everybody uses Verizon. So that slammed the network for a long time. And before they had C-band, they struggled. I'm quite surprised, to close out the video, I'm quite surprised that they did not build this type of densification before C-band, because they struggled. I'm surprised they didn't go to the higher up command in general and say, hey, look, we need to build small cells. We need to offload this somehow. And that's how bad it was. Back when I had Verizon in like 2018, 19, you were lucky to get 3-4 megabits per second outside in front of the tower. That's how constrained and congested that network was. So this is much needed relief. Although the C-band would have helped greatly with the already existing infrastructure, but this right here just takes it to a whole nother level. And like I said, be on the lookout. Verizon is getting very savage as it comes to the network. And they're willing and able to make these types of investments. I mean, $1 million for 10 macros, it's a drop in the bucket for Verizon. 17 to 17.5 billion. That CapEx, that's a drop in the bucket. To build 10 macros that quickly and to pretty much fix the coverage, I mean, not coverage, but the densification and capacity once and for all, that's just a huge accomplishment in such a short period. And it's going to help them keep their customers happy, keep churn low as possible, because now T-Mobile's on the base, right? They got some of those Sprint sites converted. Although I will say they do need a couple of more sites, maybe like I would say another 3-4 sites, but they're there. They're there with N71, N25, N41. So they got the whole portfolio deployed, and they're plenty fast. So now T-Mobile can start competing for these government agencies, but Verizon is combating that with this type of robust deployment of 10 new macros, all of them getting CBRS and C-band with 10 gig circuits. It's going to be a field day for Verizon. They're going to do over a gig on these all day long. And I would not be surprised if they do FWA into the military housing, because the only option today is Spectrum. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.